Watch us live on Facebook on I-FLIER 103.3 FM live. I-FLIER 103.3 FM live. That is the page to be on Facebook. Okay, let's go straight into all of the stories, starting from the home front. Charity Day says begins at home. President's Federation Cup round of 16 games going down right from this morning. Of course, top clashes expected to go down right there. Of course, one of the biggest clashes will be the one that will be happening between Bendel Insurance and Rangers International at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena, 4 p.m. Yes, in Lagos. These two teams would be squaring up. There's an opportunity for any of these two teams to pick up one of the continental slots, the CAF Confederations Cup slots. Of course, Bendel Insurance won it 2 years ago. Rangers have also won it before. And the two teams would definitely fancy their chances going into that one. Hopefully that one will be going down by 4 p.m. at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. For 10 a.m. this morning, Solution FC would square it up with Kwara United. That one would happen at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City. By 10 a.m. as well, in Anyigba Kogi State, Nasarawa United will play against Bayelsa United. While Plateau United will play against Osun United, the Mole Gladiators. That one would also happen in Anyigba Kogi State by 1 p.m. Aqua United, the Promise Keepers, despite their poor run of form in the NPFL. Yes, they will be looking to pick up a continental slot when they square out against Inter Lagos later this evening by 4 p.m. in Abuja. For the other games that will be played, the Imba FC will play against Abakaliki FC by 4 p.m. at the Stephen Geshi Stadium in Asaba. Wally Wolves would also be playing against the Wiki Tourist. That one will go down in Abuja area too. And finally, the games that will be going down, Ikorodu City will play against Beyond Limit in an all-Southwestern derby in that one. That would happen at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, 4 p.m. The time for that one. Ikorodu City against Beyond Limit. Top clashes expected in the President's Federation Cup round of 16. We'll be waiting to see which teams will be making it to the quarterfinal of the competition. The last 8 is supposed to be a very interesting one right there. Okay, moving away from that one, guys, let's go straight to celebrate women football. NWFL March Week 12 games are set to go down today. We'll be seeing games from Group A and from Group B. Yes, of course, some teams are looking to wrap up the Super 6 slot. Rivers Angels versus Delta Queens, Nigeria Tales versus Robo Queens. Yes, these are games that are among the deciding ties for the Super 6. Don't forget that teams like Bayelsa Queens and Edo Queens, Rivers Angels already picked up one of the places for the Super 6 competition right there. But let me quickly take you through fixtures of all of the games that will be going down. At the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, Benin City, Edo Queens will be hosting Danas Ladies by 4 p.m. Ekiti Queens will play against Nasarawa Amazons. That one would happen in Ibadan at the Lakon Salami Sports Complex at Damasigba. That's where that one will be happening. And the kickoff time for that one is 12 p.m. Yes, 12 p.m. this afternoon at the Lakon Salami Stadium at Damasigba. Ekiti Queens would be hosting Nasarawa Amazons. Also, Group A Confluence Queens will be hosting Abia Angels at the Ayimba City Stadium in Kogi State. Atlant Queens against Remo Stars Ladies at the Danayam Stadium in Owerri by 4 p.m. Of course, going to other games in Group B, ladies and gentlemen, let me inform you that Rivers Angels will host Delta Queens at the Adoki Amesimaka Stadium. One of the top clashes this week in the NWFL. Adamawa Queens against Bayelsa Queens. That one will happen by 4 p.m. Benue Queens against the Bomb Angels at the Lafia City Stadium in Lafia. And finally, Nigeria Tales against the FC Robo Queens. Nigeria Tales against FC Robo Queens. That one would happen at the Buari Township Stadium. It would also kick off by 12 noon this afternoon. Yes, those are games set to go down in the NWFL. Those are games set to look forward to in women football. Okay, moving away from that, ladies and gentlemen, let's go celebrate the manager of the month in the NNL, talking about the second tier of Nigerian football, ladies and gentlemen. Obina Ozo of Kun Khalifat FC has been named the coach of the month for the month of February in the NNL. So he won this one and was recognized for his outstanding leadership and tactical acumen, winning the coach of the month award for the month of February. Under his guidance, Kun Khalifat FC has demonstrated exceptional performance and determination on the field of play, and his coaching expertise has been instrumental to Kun Khalifa's success, with the team maintaining a strong position in the league standings so far this season. He has done quite well for this team. The team are currently topping the table when it comes to the NNL right there. So talking about the Conference B, Kun Khalifa are topping that one with 29 points from 12 games played so far. This team has won 8 games. They have played 2 draws and they have lost just 1 game. 5 points clear of second place Osun United in Conference B of the NNL. So big congratulations to Obi Naozo of Kun Khalifat FC for winning the manager of the month award. Talking about the NNL right there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move away from that one quickly. Let's go straight to the camp of the Flamingos and Nigeria under 17 women team. Ladies and gentlemen, they are preparing really hard for that FIFA World Cup qualification game against the Algerian under 17 women team that will be happening this weekend. Yes, the team has flew into Lagos. Yes, they are right now in Lagos as they continue to step up preparations for this weekend's FIFA under 17 Women's World Cup final qualifying round, the first leg clash with their counterparts from Algeria. That one will be happening at the Remo Star Stadium in Ikenne. For the 2022 World Cup bronze medalist under the watch wise of head coach Bankole Olowokere and his assistants have remained in camp at the Stella Remo Star Sports Institute since the demolition of South Africa's Botswana over 2 legs last month. And they defeated South Africa 3-1 in the first leg in Pretoria and also followed it up with a 2-0 win in Remo for an handsome 5-1 aggregate win. And they will now face the Algerians in the final qualification game. Yes, like I told you, the first leg will be happening in Ikenne this weekend. And meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football have appointed Ugandan referee Shamira Nabada. She's going to be the center referee this weekend, while Fides Bangorambona from Burundi will be assistant referee 1. Nabada's compatriot Immaculate Hungarian and Diana Muringi will serve as assistant referee 2 and 4th official respectively. Both teams will battle things out in the return leg at the Stade Mustafa Chaka Stadium in Bilda outside Algiers on Friday 25th of April, with the winner on aggregate qualifying for the FIFA Under 17 Women's World Cup finals. Well, this year's FIFA Under 17 Women's World Cup will be hosted by Morocco from 17th of October to the 8th of November, with Africa to present 5 teams, including the host nation Morocco in that one. We wish them all of the very best. Talking about the Bankole Olowokere led side. Moving away from that one, let's take this one concerning the African Cup of Nations Under 20. All seems not to be well with the Senegal camp. Despite a revised draw for the upcoming Under 20 African Cup of Nations in Egypt, tensions remain high among participating teams. The unexpected withdrawal of Cote d'Ivoire's tournament hosts has continued to create complications, particularly for Senegal. Following Egypt's confirmation as the new host nation, Tunisia was selected to replace Ivory Coast in the tournament lineup. However, the Senegalese Football Federation has formally objected to Tunisia's inclusion. Yesterday afternoon, the FSF submitted an official protest letter to the CAF headquarters in Cairo, saying that Tunisia should not be a part of that competition. In a letter addressed to the CAF Secretary General Veron Musenga-Umba, the FSF condemned what it described as a flagrant violation of CAF statutes and regulations. We'll wait to see what would the response of CAF will be concerning this one. Don't forget that the tournament would kick off later this month. Alright, moving away from that one, guys, let's go straight into the world of boxing. So of course, we switch gears and go for it. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukraine's world heavyweight champion Alexander Usyk and Britain's IBF champion Daniel Dubois in talks to face each other in a unification bout. Yes, British media reported that yesterday. The bout is expected to take place at the Wembley Stadium on July 12th, but no contracts have been signed yet by the camp of both boxers. Usyk's representative did not immediately respond to an email request for comment. Of course, previously undisputed champion Usyk holds the WBC, WBA and WBO belts after 2 successive wins over Britain's Tyson Fury. Usyk has faced Dubois before ending a controversial 9th round knockout win in Poland. That was in 2023. And of course, we would really want to see these 2 boxers squared up again. We want to see them go pound for pound again in the world of boxing. We'll wait to see if that one would eventually happen. Ladies and gentlemen, you are still listening to Sports Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Before we go straight to talk about the UEFA Champions League games that went down yesterday and games are set to go down today, let us take some news from the foreign scene. Let's go straight to the camp of AC Milan, where their goalkeeper Mike Magnan has been cleared to resume training within the next few days following his collision with teammate Alex Jimenez during last Friday's match against Udinese. Of course, the club announced this yesterday. The French international appeared to be unconscious for a brief moment and he was carried off on a stretcher during the 4-0 win in Udine. But then the team doctors have announced that Mike Magnan underwent specialist tests which ruled out any complications, and in the coming days he will gradually resume training. Those are the confirmation of the words of AC Milan in a statement. Well, Milan sitting 9th on the Serie A standings. They will play against the top place at Atalanta on Sunday in their next Serie A game. Okay, moving away from that one, ladies and gentlemen, let's go straight to the world of the UEFA Champions League. Let's go celebrate UEFA Champions League games that went down yesterday in the money spinning, lucrative, ever exciting, ever controversial, ever dramatic world of the UEFA Champions League. Let us start from the one that happened at the Villa Park between Paris Saint-Germain and Aston Villa. Well, it was a night of comeback for both teams that needed to win, but unfortunately was not enough. Yes, it wasn't sufficient for both teams. For Paris Saint-Germain, they had to survive a second half onslaught to beat Aston Villa 5-4 on aggregate, and they reached the Champions League semi-finals despite a 3-2 defeat on Tuesday. Well, let's go straight to the Villa Park and let us go enjoy how that particular game went down.
Look at the room Barcola's got. Look at the space for Dembele. Look at the danger to Aston Villa. Dembele. Nuno Mendes. He's done it again. Rashford. It's come back to Tielemans. It's in. And it went in off Pacho. Rodgers. Oh, it's anticipated by Hakimi. And he's playing it through for surely offside Dembele. But Dembele's going to be allowed to run through. And he chips Martinez to score, but there is the flag. He knew it, we knew it. Luis Enrique looks the most likely of all. As McGinn drives forward for Villa! Oh my goodness me! Cash gets there to find him again. Rashford's in the mood again. Breezes his way in! Quick fire, rushes of excitement, and then we get the tension. Helped on. Marco Asensio is in for Villa and stopped by Donnarumma. I'll finally able to celebrate with that extra little bit of confidence because it is they who are going through to the
was 3-2 on the night in favor of Aston Villa, but then on aggregate it was 5-4 in favor of Paris Saint-Germain. Yes, the French champions were cruising towards the last four when fullbacks Ashraf Hakimi and Nuno Mendes struck in the first 27 minutes to add to their 3-1 first leg lead. Yuri Tillemans pulled a goal back for the English side before halftime, and 2 goals in 2 minutes from John McGinn and Ezri Konsa transformed the tie early in the second period. But then PSG were thankful to goalkeeper was played because the games were played simultaneously. But then the one at the Signal Iduna Park between Borussia Dortmund and Barcelona. Ladies and gentlemen, Barcelona were condemned to their first ever defeat in the year 2025 after they lost to Borussia Dortmund by 3-1, but then it was also not enough for BVB as Barcelona went through 5-3 on aggregate. Ladies and gentlemen, let us go enjoy how that one went down at the Signal Iduna Park.
Dortmund get the crowd up off the seats. Indeed they are. Barcelona into the last score, courtesy of a very glossy first leg performance, and the 4-0 win. Guirassi's hat-trick for Borussia Dortmund gave them real hope.
Yes, despite Barcelona losing that one, they were the one that progressed to the semi-final, just like you listened to. They were holding a 4-0 lead after a dominant performance in Catalonia, and the visitors were made to sweat as Borussia Dortmund and Serhou Guirassy nearly pulled over a stunning turnaround in that one. Dortmund forward Guirassy put them in front. Not been offside before scoring with 11 minutes remaining. But despite losing their first competitive game in 2025, Barcelona are through to the semi-finals for the first time in 6 years, keeping their dream of a remarkable treble alive, and of course looking to win the UEFA Champions League for the first time in 10 years. 2015, the last time Barcelona won the UEFA Champions League. Meanwhile, the coach of the team, Hansi Flick, praised Dortmund's performance and also said his side need to focus on the positive in that game and not the negatives. But then it was Barcelona who progressed to the semi-final, meaning we have 2 semi-finalists already in the UEFA Champions League, and we would be waiting for some other 2 teams who will be joining them. Of course, the big one definitely be happening at the Santiago Bernabeu between Real Madrid and Arsenal. Ladies and gentlemen, according to Real Madrid manager Carlo Ancelotti, said Real Madrid would attempt to put on yet another special night at the Santiago Bernabeu, and they would look to overturn a sizable deficit in their Champions League quarter-final clash against Arsenal. Yes, it was 3-0 in favor of the Gunners in the first leg. However, Real Madrid, record 15 times European champions. They have won 6 Champions League titles since 2009, and they have made a habit of completing unlikely recoveries in the knockout stages of the competition. The Spanish heavyweights have overturned deficit against Paris Saint-Germain, and it's about an African player. Talking about Borussia Dortmund and Guinean international Serhou Guirassy. Yes, Serhou Guirassy made history yesterday by becoming the first African to score an hat-trick in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final or later. Yes, you heard me right. Serhou Guirassy, who plays for Guinea, who plays for Borussia Dortmund, he became the first African to score an hat-trick in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final, meaning no African has ever scored an hat-trick in the UEFA Champions League quarter-final, semi-final or final. Big ups to Serhou Guirassy in that one. He scored it after Borussia Dortmund beat Barcelona by 3-1. He also became the first African to score an hat-trick against Barcelona. Alright guys, thank you very much for joining me on this morning's edition of Sports Drive on I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Big appreciations to my studio manager Abiodun Abdejo Parts, ably assisted by Bamidele Sunday. Not forgetting my producer Ademola Olamileko. Until I come your way again this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half of the show. My name is PELUMI, ADEOSUN, and I'm wishing you a great rest of the day.
Nte tábìlì tá bá ń sọ ní
I-FLIER 103.3 FM, the first entertainment station in Nigeria. It is your perfect choice station for the high flyers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
right in the city of Ibadan, there is the first entertainment radio station in Nigeria. I-FLIER 103.3 FM.
Bambo lónìí mú o, agbọ̀nsalẹ̀ lónìí ọ̀hù. Bó jẹ́ tìròyìn tó gbójó I-FLIER lónìí, ètò lọ́lọ́kan òjò kan wà ní bàbá wọn. Bó wá jẹ́ tèrè dárayá lẹ́lẹ́kàkà, I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Ògúngbadé làwà láfọ̀gbàgbàgbalẹ̀ sí nílé Ìbàdàn tí a. Ẹ wá bá wa polówó ọjà kájé òbúgbà yín jẹ. Ó Elédùmarè lódìrí ẹwà fákùkọ wa.
Èmi MC Jola ló ní kẹ́ máa gbọ́ ìkànnì I-FLIER 103.3 FM. Má gbé kúrò ńbẹ̀ o.
I-FLIER FM mi lutiti ọmọ náà wà ní wọ́n mi gbọ́rọ̀ gan. Àní I-FLIER FM mi lutiti ọmọ náà wà ní wọ́n mi gbọ́rọ̀ gan. 103.3 FM nìbàdàn ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. 103.3 FM lókèlókè ní ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Àní bó ṣe ń dún ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Bó ṣe ń dún bó ṣe ń kílẹ̀ tó mi gbòòrò kan. Aláṣẹ la. Bó ṣe ń dún ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Ó mi gbòòrò títí. Bó ṣe ń dún bó ṣe ń kílẹ̀ tó mi gbòòrò kan. I-FLIER 103.3 FM nìbàdàn. Ọ̀gá nìyẹn aṣíwájú ló jẹ́. Ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Aláṣẹ rire bá ṣe ń gbọ́ ló fún ni láyọ̀. Rédíò tiwantiwa. Bó ṣe ń dún ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Àní bó ṣe ń dún bó ṣe ń kílẹ̀ tó ní gbòòrò kan. Ẹ máa gbọ́. Bó ṣe ń dún ìkànnì ìlà aláṣẹ la. Àní bó ṣe ń dún bó ṣe ń kílẹ̀ tó ní gbòòrò kan. Fún polówó ọjà I-FLIER ẹgbẹ́ dálà wà nìbàdàn. I-FLIER ètò lóríṣiríṣi I-FLIER. I-FLIER 103.3.
bóyá lẹ mọ̀ pé ọtí àmujù ló ń fa ogunlọ́gọ̀ ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìjàmbá ọkọ̀ lójú òpópónà wa lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà tó sì ti sọ àwọn èèyàn tó tó 11,000 dèrò ọ̀run lọ́sàn-án gangan ayé wọn láàrin ọdún kan. Pípọ̀ nínú àwọn ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ yìí bá ti ṣe